Good morning all of you. I am Prince Misra. I welcome you all on behalf of GSS Core in this online optional geography class. Today I am going to continue with the topic monsoon that I have started, and I have discussed the monsoon in two different lectures. In previous lectures I have discussed about origin, mechanism of monsoon, where I have discussed about some of the particular basic idea, basic concept of monsoon. As far as monsoon is concerned, I already have discussed about its implication, its socio-economic association with the countrymen. Also I have discussed about some of the theories, like some of the classical theories of the monsoon, where Halley has explained that how the monsoon is originating. Then what was the drawbacks in the concept of Halley. Then you will have some of the dynamic concept that has been devised, especially the idea of ITCZ. The idea of ITCZ, and when the idea of Halley has been combined, it very, you can say, elaborately explained the monsoon phenomena. But over the period of time, when we have developed some new mechanism, technology of data processing, then we realized that monsoon, of course, as a phenomena is very much can be explained by the idea of Halley and ITCZ, but some of the intricacies of the monsoon is not being explained, and also some of the other roles of different part of the world has not been considered by this theory. Then you will have some of the new expedition started, where not only the individual but also some of the government organization have collaborated, and they have studied the roles and some of the other aspect of monsoon. Then you will have the idea of particularly jet stream arised, some of the upper circulation arised, how the meridional cycle is particularly changing, how the Hadley cell is changing. Then you will have the role of some of the teleconnection, especially El Nino, La Nina. Then some of the recent findings, as late as you can say last 1997 El Nino year, and after that we have discovery of Indian Ocean dipole aspect. And almost in all these particular years, the research and all the expedition that was going in this direction of monsoon was to just study some of the intricacies. And which is the most important intricacies in the monsoon, as far as phenomena is concerned, it's a very settled matter that simply monsoon is nothing but it's simply a seasonal reversal of the wind, in which the wind will blow in one direction in summer season and one direction, other direction in the winter season. The summer direction wind will cause rainfall, so there will be a monsoonal rainfall in India during the summer season, and winter season will be dry. But the most important intricacies related to the monsoon that I am going to discuss in great detail in today's lecture is related to the variability of the rainfall. Of course, the monsoon is very much, you can say, a fixed pattern, that the monsoon will arrive during the summer season, the wind will get, you can say, deflected, reversed, sometimes 180-degree during the summer season. But whether the amount of rainfall, the area covered by this particular wind in the form of rainfall is same or something different, or the amount of rainfall that is being caused in all the month is going to be same or different, or the amount of rainfall that every part, every region of this country is receiving is same or different. Also, whether this difference in the rainfall is only related to any particular season, or it is variable, it is distributed in different part of the year. So that we will try to find out. As far rainfall is concerned, in this rainfall distribution we have two different aspects. and the topic itself speak of that, space-time variation. So of course you need to understand the two terms here, that is space and time related to the rainfall. When the rainfall is happening in different part of the country, so like you will have the rainfall is happening in the southern peninsula, state of Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra, and the rainfall is happening in northern areas like UP, Bihar, Delhi, Haryana, Punjab. So this distribution of the rainfall is simply refers to the spatial distribution, the space distribution of the rainfall. But when you will talk about the time, that season, that which part of the season, whether it's a June month, whether it's a July month, whether it's August month, whether it's September month, that is your time. So this rainfall that is mainly associated with monsoon is variable. And how it varies? It varies space, and this space can be anything. It can be district, it can be state, or it can be any geographical region. So when the variability in this district, state, or any geographical region, that is your spatial variation. When the variation is related to any month, that is June, July, August, September, that is the variation in terms of time, temporal. So there is a variability of both space and time. Now this state and time and your regional variability has two different components. You will have one component is your inter-annular component, and the second is your intra-annular component. In simple word, you can say the variation of the rainfall, that is both in state, space and time terminology, will vary in different years. So whatever the rainfall happened in 2017 is not going to be the same in 2018, and whatever the rainfall in 2018 was not going to be same in 19. So there will be a year-on-year variation of the rainfall. And the second component will be intra-annular, that in different seasons also, within a year, in different seasons, there will be a variation of the rainfall. So variation in a given year during monsoon season. So there are two very important themes that you need to understand, and the question can be asked from these two different themes. And of course, most of the present research is in this direction only, to find out the reasons of this interannular variation and also the intra-annular variation. Over the period of time, some of the causes of yearly variation of the rainfall, or you can say interannular variation of the rainfall, has been found out. So it is more or less now very much settled that as far as yearly variation is concerned, mainly the role is being played by two of the phenomena, that is greatly controlling. Of course, All the other phenomena we already have discussed. We already have discussed about jet stream, we already have discussed about the tropical easterly jet, Somali jet, ITC jet, all the things that we already have covered. But as far as intervariability is concerned, interannular variability is concerned, two very important phenomena are the ENSO and IOD. El Nino Southern Oscillation and your Indian Ocean Dipole. So, Indian Ocean Dipole and El Nino Southern Oscillation, these are the two main themes that is responsible for the rainfall variation in different years. So, of course, we already have discussed when this El Nino Southern Oscillation, it is associated with El Nino, and El Nino is negatively associated with the Indian monsoon. So, in a year whenever there will be a El Nino development, so El Nino will have impact over the Indian monsoon, that Indian monsoon will get hampered, negatively hampered. If you will have the El Nino fully developed, definitely you will have the drought like condition or less rainfall in India. If you will have weak El Nino or you will have the La Nina condition, so you will have the negative impact that the Indian monsoon will positively affected. That is, here you will have flood like condition or you will have the more rainfall. So, this ENSO is inversely related and IOD is positively related. So, when you will have the positive Indian Ocean Dipole means you will have the more rainfall in India, negative Indian Ocean Dipole, then you will have the less rainfall in India. So, these are the two most important aspects of the yearly variation of the rainfall. But as far as seasonal variation of rainfall, it is very difficult to predict. In fact, that is the most complex thing to be in prediction, and most of our research related to the prediction of the monsoon is going to mostly, you can say, accurately predict the variation of the rainfall in a season. Because if you will go back and try to look out some of the data in last 2 years, then you will realize that there has been a cases, especially if you will talk about the peninsular India, where so many natural hazards have occurred, and that is directly or indirectly related to the monsoonal rainfall. Like you will have very famous, the great devastating Kerala flood during 2018, again the Kerala flood, Maharashtra flood in 2019, there was a case of landslide also. This year also, you will have the devastating flood in that particular region, and also you will have very famous Idukki landslide. So, if you will read that particular phenomena independently and not as a geography student, definitely you will feel that it is a hazard. Might be it is related to some of the climate change or some of the other changes in the pattern of uses of land, more and more industrial development. But as a geography student, you will realize that there is a direct relation. There is a direct relation of these particular phenomena, their frequency, their intensity has changed, and also the variation in the rainfall. In one way or other, it is the failure of the policy makers to assess the situation correctly. When you will have the Idukki landslide, so definitely what happened? Idukki landslide, of course it is a landslide, but it was caused due to very heavy rainfall. So, very heavy rainfall means rainfall was not correctly predicted in that particular day. Of course, we were having some of the prediction based on the 2-3 days medium range forecast. Medium range forecast was there, but that medium range forecast was not very accurately forecasted for that particular area. And if the area was not in before have knowledge that this rainfall occur, then how the particularly policy maker, the administration can shift that particular people of that area. So definitely there has been a failure of the this monsoon prediction. Of course, all the scientists, all the research is going on, but definitely to a certain extent it appears that there has been a failure. Now the question arises whether it's a completely failure of any person. No, it is not failure of any person or any institution. It is the actually complex nature of the rainfall itself. Now particularly the time has come where a new normal needs to be decided. Now what is the new normal and what are the different variability, I will discuss it, but as far as the second component of variation of the rainfall is seasonal variation. So seasonal variation of the rainfall. Now the first variation was the interannular variation, that was very easy. It was mainly because of the Indian Ocean dipole and El Nino Southern Ocean oscillation, but this seasonal variation is because of so many factors. Here not a one factor is responsible. This seasonal variation can be related to location of monsoon trough, location of ITCZ, location of tropical easterly jet, development of El Nino, La Nina, we call it as Nino combinedly. Not only this Nino, also we can have North Atlantic oscillation. Not only this North Atlantic oscillation, but also we have Madden-Julian oscillation, MJO. Also sometimes Somali jet, find later jet. So all these are associated. So whenever there will be a changes in any component, the effect will be visible. So might be it is not El Nino, it is not particularly Indian Ocean dipole, the monsoon is fully developed, it's behaving normally. But if you will have the monsoon trough or the low pressure has moved toward the northern of Himalaya, suddenly the rainfall will stop. We call it as break. Or when this particularly monsoon trough will go in southern side, more and more trough condition will develop over the ocean, then the rainfall will speed up, intensity of the rainfall will increases. So that is your particularly active phase. So what is happening? The monsoon, the complexity of monsoon is being created due to the variability of all these factors. And we have very limited resources to accurately predict these particularly factors within a short range or medium range. And of course, when you will have the long range, then definitely these factors is very, you can say, phenomena is limited to some time period. So it is not possible to accurately tell that what will going to happen in say 70 or 80 days after a particular time frame. The broad geographical phenomena, the broad climatic phenomena can be predicted in advance, but a small scale phenomena is little bit complex, or you can say difficult to be predicted in advance. Also, if you will have some of the oceanic phenomena is happening just nearby the Kerala or just nearby the Gujarat, other than the cyclonic development, then also you will require so many sophisticated technology, instrument, deployment of human resources. So there is a complexity both related to technological obstruction and also the climatic obstruction. Of course, the financial aspect it can be, but mostly it is related to the climatic obstruction as well as technological obstruction. But as far as our this class is concerned, you just need to understand that if the question can be asked or question will be asked related to why the monsoonal rainfall in India is erratic in nature. So while writing the answer that why the monsoonal rainfall in India is erratic in nature, you need to incorporate all these factors. You need to highlight all these factors. Of course, while writing 150 words or 250 words answer, it is not possible for you to explain each and every phenomena. But while writing the answer, try to incorporate as many factors as possible. It is not like that while you are writing why the monsoonal rainfall erratic in nature and you will only discuss about ITCZ or ENSO. No, that is not only responsible. You will have so many other factors. In fact, one by one, these factors have developed because in some year or other, even ENSO was stable, IOD was stable, but still you will have some of the variability have been predicted. And if the variability have been predicted means if let's say you will have 5 factors and 5 factors are normal and still you will have variability of rainfall, it is only implicating that there will be some other factors that are playing a role in this variability. And through that only process, we have the coming out of new phenomena, new evidences. That was the case, how we have the case of fine later jet, Somali jet have been discovered, then you will have the Indian Ocean dipole has been discovered, so many new discoveries have happened. Now, these are some of the major factors that are playing in this role of seasonal variation of the rainfall. As I said that it is the time to come out with new climatic normal. So for that you need to have some understanding idea that what is climatic normal, then only you will get to know that what is the idea of this new climatic normal. As far as climatic normal is concerned, mostly this term in our monsoonal study are simply related to the climatic condition of India is concerned. This term is used for taking average of about 50 years to arrive at certain conclusion. So to arrive at what will be the amount of rainfall, to arrive at what will be the temperature condition in any particular area, what will be the normal onset date, what will be the normal withdrawal date, that is based on the particularly 50 years time period. But especially in last 10 to 15 years, we have very greater variability. So because of that only, it is being said that now the time has come to just go and look beyond this 50 years climatic normal and put out some new climatic normal. New climatic normal can be put out just going through that last 10 years, 15 years data. And that will be more relevant for the policy maker, relevant for the flood management, the people that are involved in the landslide management, disaster management, that will be more, you can say, useful. As far as this climatic normal is concerned, based on the last 50 years data, our climatic agency, that is IMD, Indian Meteorological Department, calculate the LPA, that is long period average, we call it as LPA, long period average of rainfall. As far as LPA is concerned, for the monsoon, what happens? Simply LPA is around 88 centimeter. So for the monsoon, and when we are saying monsoon, it's simply, you need to very much clear about it that we are only referring to this monsoon, that is Indian summer monsoon. And Indian summer monsoon, the normal onset date of this monsoon is being considered as 1st of June on the Malabar coast, and then the withdrawal of this monsoon. The withdrawal of this monsoon is started from northwestern part of Rajasthan, starting from 1st of September. So this seasonal duration, the time duration of Indian summer monsoon is 4 months, that is June, July, August and September. In short form, it is also referred as JJAS. So this 4 month summer monsoonal rainfall is associated with this 88 centimeter rainfall. IMD predicts about this monsoon, that how this monsoon is going to be in that particular year. Now this prediction is based on different factors, but before that you need to know that this amount of rainfall will again be categorized in different category. So there will be a category of normal monsoon rainfall. When the rainfall, that is LPA, is going to be 96% to 104%, that year's rainfall IMD will categorize as normal monsoonal rainfall. Like 2020, the first long range forecast has been made by IMD in month of April, and in month of April IMD predicted that this 2020 year's rainfall will be normal monsoon. This monsoon will be normal. Then you will have mid-seasonal assessment that mostly happened in the month of June, and then the data will be released in July. So again in this particular prediction also, the IMD has predicted that this year's monsoon will be normal. So when they are saying normal, means the rainfall can be in this 96 to 104% variability. If the rainfall is in the range of 90 to 96%, then that will be below normal. So the monsoon will be referred as below normal monsoon when it is 90 to 96%. And if the monsoonal rainfall long period average is less than 90%, then it will be referred as, categorized as deficient monsoon. If the rainfall is 104 to 110 centimeter, 104 to 110%, then it will be referred as above normal monsoon. And if it is more than 110%, then it will be excess monsoon. So generally there will be a 5 categorization based on long period average. So any year monsoon can be normal, monsoon can be below normal, monsoon can be deficient monsoon, above normal or excess monsoon. Now the responsibility for the prediction of monsoon lies with the particularly IMD. IMD predicts on the based on some of the factors. So definitely I will talk about that factor, but before that just try to understand few things with the help of some of data. When you will look out the data, then the things will be more or less clear that why we are discussing this topic and why the name of this topic or the theme of this topic is space-time variability. Generally the IMD considers, and of course it was correct for few of the decades, that the onset of the monsoon start from 1st of June and the withdrawal will start from 1st of September and the withdrawal will get completed by 15th of October. But the question is whether that withdrawal date and the normal onset or withdrawal date is still applicable, or do we have some of the changes is occurring in the past, or do we have any chances of the changes in the pattern in the future, and if yes, then what will be the new pattern, and how can we say that yes, pattern is showing some kind of changing variability. Now just try to understand. If you will go with this data of recent year, that is 2019, the onset of monsoon was delayed, and of course in starting itself, let me tell you, in 2019 IMD predicted that the monsoon will be normal. So normal means they have predicted that it will be within the range of 96 to 104%. So onset started a week later. So normal date is 1st October, the onset started from 8th October. The onset of the monsoon started from 8th October. Sorry, onset started from 8th of June. Sorry, the normal date is 1st June, it was delayed by 1 week. Now as far as withdrawal is concerned, the normal date of withdrawal from northwestern part of country, especially Rajasthan, western part of Rajasthan, is 1st September. But you will be amazed to know that last year the withdrawal was as late as almost 8th of October. So almost it was delayed more than a month. The rainfall was happening. So when you will have the withdrawal was delayed, so definitely the total withdrawal from the country that was supposed to complete by 15th October should also get delayed. Because generally what happens, when we study the normal mechanism of monsoon, we used to say that the onset is sudden, whereas the withdrawal is gradual. Monsoon started suddenly on the Malabar coast in the form of monsoon burst, and then it goes on and completed and covered whole of the country by the last week of July. So the by the July, whole of the country will be under the grip of monsoon, and from the 1st September, these monsoon winds, these southwesterly winds will start retreating. But this retreat will be gradual and it will get completed by the 15th of October. Now here, the retreat started from almost 8th October, which is almost more than a month delayed, but still the total retreat from the whole of the country completed by the 16th October. It's very interesting. It's very interesting data which you need to understand, because question will not be directly based on the data. Question will be simply asked to come out with some of the pattern, and they will ask some of the pattern, and they will ask whether this new pattern that is emerging in the monsoonal rainfall in India is justifiable or not. So you need to have idea of some of the data, then only you will get to know that what is the new pattern that is emerging out in this monsoonal rainfall. So the monsoonal rainfall, the withdrawal started from 8th October and almost completed by 16th October, that is only 1 day delay. Delay is only 1 day. Also, as IMD has predicted that the monsoon will be normal, so the monsoonal rainfall will be within the range of 96 to 104, but at the end it was 110%. That is, it was excess monsoon. So two things is very much clear from this data. Now I will try to get some of the conclusion. On that particular conclusion we have some discussion. So first thing that is emerging out, there is late withdrawal, very much visible. The second conclusion is variability in rainfall, and of course that is not a very new conclusion. We all know that there will be a variability. But this rainfall, that is 110%, if you will try to analyze, that is the most important data that you need to understand, that the rainfall should be in the month of June, July, August, September. The rainfall should be distributed in these 4 months. But when you will look out the data of these 2 months, that is June and July, the rainfall in last year, that is 2019, was only 91%. Whereas the rainfall in August and September was almost 130%. In other words, you can say, we have a tendency of late withdrawal, that is very much visible, and also we have a very new pattern in emerging where more monsoonal rainfall is being received in the month of August and September. August and September. Now, if you happens to be from peninsular India or from Bihar or from Assam or from any other part of the country, and you are just going through the current affairs of this year or last year, then you can relate, you can directly link this pattern, the second pattern, with the ongoing flood-like situation in particularly MP, in particularly Odisha, in Andhra, in Telangana, that we have a new pattern is emerging out. And because of this new pattern only, you will have more and more disaster, more and more hazardous condition is being present. Because most of the time, the flood in most of the state is not only caused by the rainfall, but also it caused by due to the opening of the flood gate, opening of the dams gate, and dam mostly they were not having the accurate data. They will go with the simple the last 40-50 years data. They will consider the same data that let's say it's a 15 August. Now it's time that the monsoon will get weakened, amount of rainfall will be lesser, so we need to store more and more data. But the now new pattern has emerged in which more and more rainfall is happening. So already they have stored so much water and suddenly you will have so much rainfall will started. So ultimately they will be forced to just open the dam gate. And when the dam gate will be opened, more and more water will go to the plain area, to the low-lying area, and this will cause havoc. So of course the rainfall is also happening, and at the same time we will have some other sources of water is present, so definitely the havoc will be created. So I am not going in that detail of that hazard because that is the subject matter of some other class of disasters, but here you need to understand that there is new pattern is emerging and the policy makers, the administrator of this country needs to get aware about this particular new pattern. And the dissemination of information lies with the IMD. Of course, IMD is coming out with new kind of announcement, new kind of report, summary. But until and unless they will devise some of the new climatic normal, it will be difficult for them also. So, two of the things that you can see from here is late withdrawal and more rainfall is being received in the month of August and September. Now, one very interesting thing that is coming out, and you know, generally as far as India is concerned, India receives good amount of rainfall, total annual rainfall. And some of the area in this India are known to have received very high rainfall. Two of the area which invariably almost most students must know, and if you are not knowing, definitely you should know. Two of the area which receives very high rainfall in India, one is your Western Ghat and one is your northeastern state. And of course, the rainfall is very much visible in the form of vegetation that is present. So, if you will visit any time in the Western Ghat, you will find so much forest, the tropical rainforest, the equatorial rainforest kind of canopy you will find. Similarly, the same kind of canopy you will find in northeastern state. We call it as, in our country, as evergreen forest. So, these two areas happens to be invariably receiving more and more rainfall. Now, you will be amazed to know that in last 2 to 3 years, especially from starting from 18, of course, you will have the problem of flood is occurring at almost whole part of the country. But most of the time you will come across to the news that the state like Maharashtra, Kerala, Karnataka, they are experiencing more flood as compared to some of the state that is in the northeast. Of course, their particularly topography is such that the drainage is faster, but still one thing is also emerging out, that these areas, that is northeastern states, they are also receiving less rainfall. Because if you will try to analyze the same data last year, that is the total country received 110% rainfall. This rainfall was not equally distributed. Rather, northwestern region received 98% rainfall. Of course, it is lying in the some of the semi-arid region. Then you will have north and northeastern region. Here you will have very interesting factor, 88%. Variability is very high, but the variability has not turned into any kind of major disaster flood, because this area invariably receives high amount of rainfall, very huge amount of rainfall. Most of the area receives more than 250 centimeter of rainfall. So, when the rainfall amount is very high, so variability is not that much visible in transformation of hazards in a same year. But yes, pattern is emerging out, and pattern is emerging out due to some of the reasons that you need to understand. The second thing is peninsula, southern peninsula especially, has received rainfall that is around 116%, and central India around 129%. So, overall, what you need to understand from this data, that we have the new pattern. A new pattern is emerging out in which the peninsula is receiving more and more rainfall. If the peninsula is receiving more and more rainfall, then definitely something is happening nearby this peninsula. And when we say peninsula, we are not only referring to the Western Ghat. Peninsula, of course, you will have the Western Ghat, you will have the state like Gujarat, you will have the state like Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, but also you will have a state like Andhra, you will have a state like Odisha. I am not considering Tamil Nadu, because mostly Tamil Nadu receives the winter monsoon rainfall or northeastern monsoonal rainfall. So one thing is emerging out, that peninsula is receiving more rainfall, whereas the northeastern state is receiving less rain. In other words, you can say the peninsular excess rainfall is being compensated by deficit in northeastern state. And the same pattern is visible in central part of the country and northwestern. Central part is receiving more rainfall as compared to northwestern part. Now, one very interesting thing which you can relate in this part, as far as India is concerned, India receives rainfall mostly in the monsoon season, and the monsoonal rainfall is due to the wind action, two of the winds. The winds that are coming from the ocean, due to the orography, topography, physiography, they get bifurcated in two branches. One is Arabian Sea branch and one is your Bay of Bengal branch. As far as Western Ghat is concerned, some of Narmada Tapi region is concerned, this area received the rainfall from the Arabian Sea branch, whereas the most other part of the country is concerned, it receives rainfall from the Bay of Bengal branch. So if more and more rainfall is received by the peninsular region, state like Kerala, Goa, Maharashtra, it is only referring that the Arabian Sea branch is strengthening. Arabian Sea branch is strengthening and the Bay of Bengal branch, in one way or other, it is weakening. In other words, you can say, we are witnessing a pattern where Arabian Sea branch is getting heated up and the Bay of Bengal is getting almost less heated up. So more heating in the Arabian Sea branch is causing very, you can say, development of more and more stronger Arabian Sea branch and causing more rainfall. Not only this warming, other than the warming, there are two other geographical features that are causing more rainfall. In this Western Ghat. One is your offshore trough. Of course, offshore trough is in one way or other is associated with the heating only. So the Arabian Sea branch is unusually getting heated up, and if it is getting unusually heated up, means you will have a chances of development of low pressure. And whenever you will have the chances of low pressure, we already have learned about the pressure gradient. Whenever there will be a pressure gradient between the ocean and land, then only the winds will move toward the land part. So there will be a strengthening of that low pressure, and in the condition of strengthening of that low pressure, there will be a more and more rainfall in the neighboring region. So here you will have the offshore trough will develop in and around of this Western Ghat region, and the result will be clearly visible in the part of Kerala, Maharashtra, Goa, some part of Gujarat. Even you can relate this phenomena with one more very interesting phenomena. In last few years you will realize most of our peninsular state are prone to the tropical cyclone, and cyclone is being developed in both Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. But generally what happens, the frequency of development of tropical cyclone is such that more and more tropical cyclone will develop in the eastern part of the country as compared to western part of the country. But in last few years, the frequency of development of tropical cyclone in western part of the country has also increased. So that is also very much associated with the more heating, and more heating will develop into offshore trough, and of course that offshore trough, when it will get intensified, it can be a source of depression, then deep depression, and then you will have development of the storm. So all the things are related. So the heating of the Arabian Sea is one of the very important reason for the more and more rainfall in this southern peninsular region. Also, not only this offshore trough, you will have one more very interesting feature that is emerging out, and that happens to be development of offshore vortex. There has been a lot of instances where you will have the development of offshore vortex. Now, offshore vortex is also contributing some of the rainfall in this particular peninsular area. Now, what is this offshore? Mostly what happens, the rainfall in the Western Ghat is being caused due to particularly Arabian Sea branch. When the Arabian Sea branch hits the coast, hits the land part, after covering some of the distance, it comes under the effect of Western Ghat. That is a mountain running in the north-south, particularly orientation. When these winds will get obstructed by the particularly mountain, they will be forced to rise, and when they will rise, definitely there will be some of the orographic rainfall. But sometime what happens, these winds are less strengthened, so the rising is not that smooth, and if the rising is not that smooth, so definitely the rainfall will not be directly the outcome of particularly your rising orographic. Rather, what will happening, these winds will come, and rather than rising, they will start circulating around the mountain. And when they will start circulating around the mountain, a vortex like structure, a circular, a whirling pattern will develop, and this whirling pattern will causes heavy rainfall in all the area of the mountain. So frequent development of offshore trough as well as frequent development of offshore vortex is one of the reason for having more and more rainfall in the Western Ghat, in the peninsular area, in the Kerala region in last few years. Whereas some of the effect that is being seen in the Bay of Bengal is one of the reason why the rainfall intensity is decreasing in particularly northeastern state. So this is some of the interesting features, interesting pattern that is emerging out that you need to understand. So it is related to the peninsula. Now the second region in the country which is also seeing the increasing in the rainfall is the central part, and northwestern part of the country is comparatively receiving less rainfall. Now as far as most part of the country is concerned, most of part of the country receive the rainfall through this Bay of Bengal. Through this Bay of Bengal branch of the monsoon. Now this Bay of Bengal branch of the monsoon first enters in the northeast, and then it gets channelized along with the Himalaya. So it enters in the particularly northeastern state, and then it gets channelized along the Himalaya. So it is the same Bay of Bengal branch that is traversing in most part of the country. It is first appearing in Assam, then it is moving toward West Bengal, then moving toward Bihar, then eastern UP and then again moving toward the Delhi, and then it will converge with the Arabian Sea branch. So, as again you will have some role of the climate is being played, due to which the moisture bearing capacity of the wind has increased. But the moisture bearing capacity has increased, but unusually high temperature is being witnessed in different part of the country, which was generally experiencing less temperature. So, what will happen? Initially the wind was capable to reach in most part of the country. Now what will happen? The rainfall will start occurring in the Bihar, in West Bengal, Assam and eastern UP. Of course, these were the invariably areas that were receiving more rainfall. But in the recent time, in last 4-5 years, you will find that these areas are receiving unusually very high rainfall. And almost they are receiving the rainfall in the month of June also, July also, August also, September also, even some week of October. So, the duration of the rainfall in that particular area is same, but almost rainfall is continuous. So, that is why it is being witnessed that the central part of the country is receiving more rainfall. Moisture is being carried out by the same wind, and if the wind is crossing, let us say Varanasi or let us say Lucknow, and if most of the rainfall has already happened in Patna, Varanasi, so that particular wind will have lesser moisture when it will crosses the particular Delhi or some of the western part of the country. So, invariably these western part is bound to receive lesser rainfall as compared to the central part. So, two of the pattern that you need to identify and you need to have understanding while writing the answer, that is erratic nature of the rainfall, is one is your central part that is getting more rainfall, and the other is your particularly peninsular area that is receiving more rainfall. Whereas northeastern state is receiving comparatively less rainfall and northwestern state receiving less rainfall. As far as northeastern state is concerned, the amount of rainfall is very high, the duration of the rainfall is very long, that is why the result will not be very much visible. But as far as northwestern part of the country is concerned, invariably these are the part of the country that lies in the arid area, some of the area lies in barely you can say the complete hot desert. So, any variability of the rainfall will affect the people, the economy, the soil, the agriculture, all the particular aspect will get affected. Now, so these are the two very important theme in the changing pattern of particularly rainfall. Now, one very important theme that we will discuss is related to forecasting. Most of the forecasting related to rainfall is being done by the IMD. IMD issues forecasting, and there will be two sets of forecasting that is being issued. One is long range forecasting and the other is short and medium range forecasting. Long range forecasting, short range forecasting and medium range forecasting. When the forecasting is for more than 30 days, then of course it will be a long range forecasting. And when the forecasting is for the, let us say, less than 3 days, so that will be your short range forecasting. And when it is more than 3 days, up to 10 days, then it will be a medium range forecasting. As far as forecasting is concerned, IMD comes out with different kinds of forecasting. it comes with long range forecasting and it comes with short and medium range forecasting. In terms of long range forecasting, it issues almost you will have first forecasting in the month of April and the second is intra-seasonal or you can say mid-season forecasting in the month of June, which will be released in July. So, two of the long range forecasting. These two long range forecasting will help out the policy makers, the most of the farmers which are planning for, you can say, for any particular crop, any particular other activity. Also it will help out to general people to assess the situation. Also it will be very much helpful for the some of the people involved in dam management, flood management. So long range forecasting is very useful. But most of the, you can say, general public is interested in this short and medium range forecasting. As far as long range forecasting is concerned, most of the long range forecasting is very much their predictability and their, you can say, matching is very accurate. But when it comes to short and medium range, the most complex part is this short and this medium. As far as short range is concerned, it is also most of the time nowadays IMD's short term forecasting is also very much predictable, very much accurate. But there lies difficulty in the medium range. And also you need to understand what is the utility, because if you will know the utility, then only you will understand that why it is very important. Because the medium range prediction is very important in some of the planning, agricultural activity. Agricultural activity is simply like irrigation, like watering, like providing some of the fertilizers or any kind of activity. So it will help out to the farmers. When you will have the forecasting for, let's say, 5 days, 7 days, and that is also very much, you can say, accurate, then most of the farmer will rely on that information. And also it will be very important for flood management. Most of the time, let's say if the IMD is saying, and IMD is issuing some of the guidelines that today or tomorrow there will be a flood like condition in Delhi. So it will be very difficult for the policy maker to move out some of the people present in the low lying area to in some of the other safe places, or it will be difficult for the policy maker to disseminate the information quickly. But if it is giving the medium range forecasting that after 5 days Patna is going to have flood like situation, so in that particular event what will happen? The policy maker, the administration can move out some of the people living in low lying area to the safer place. So the medium range forecasting is helpful for planning agricultural activity, flood management, and also not only this, it will help in the town planning. It will help in the town planning, that how to manage in the urban area, because the flood can cause in any area. It is not only related to the flood in Bihar, Patna or Delhi. Flood can be caused any area, rural area, urban area, but also urban area requires a different set of the, you can say, expertise. Urban area requires a different set of strategy, because in urban area you will have so many people are living in any particular area, and it will be very difficult to move out that particular people from that area. Mostly some of the people lives in the houses, so building collapses cases will increases during the monsoon time. So that is also one of the very important aspect. So all these aspects should be handled if you will have medium range forecasting. As far as this forecasting is concerned, the IMD is coming out with so many forecasting, and of course that forecasting is correct. But over last few years, the Ministry of Earth Science, that is the nodal ministry of IMD, has launched a centrally sponsored program, and the name of that centrally sponsored program is Monsoon Mission. And the most important objective of this Monsoon Mission is to improve the forecasting. And which forecasting to improve? The two of the forecasting. To improve seasonal and intra-seasonal forecasting, and the second is to improve medium range forecasting. So this monsoon mission's role is very important in the accurate forecasting of the monsoon. Or generally what happens, we have some of the models, and that model is being utilized by the IMD, and on the basis of that particular model, IMD issues some of the forecasting. The forecasting model that is being used by our IMD presently is simply monsoon mission coupled forecasting system, or you can say MMCFS. So of course it is little bit technical, but you should have some shallow idea, because sometime while writing about the erratic nature of the monsoon, or writing a question related to what are the different strategies, what are the different methodology utilized by IMD in forecasting the monsoon, so it will help you out. So the methodology that is being utilized by the IMD for monsoon mission coupled forecasting system, this system is based on particularly 5 parameters. So what are the 5 parameters? In fact, you also need to understand, in 1988 this present model was accepted by the IMD, and it was developed by a team led by Gowarikar. So it was the Gowarikar and team that has developed, and initially they have developed the model based on the 16 parameter, and then that 16 parameter has been reduced to 8 parameters. So presently we have 8 parameters. Now out of 8 parameters, 5 parameter is used for the seasonal prediction, that is long range forecasting, that particular this IMD is used during the month of April. So what are the parameters that particularly utilize? You just need to have some of the idea. Land surface, air temperature, Europe. So land surface temperature of Europe is one of the parameter. The second parameter is warm water volume of equatorial Pacific. The third parameter is simply SST, gradient of northwestern Pacific and northwestern Atlantic. The fourth is equatorial southeast Indian Ocean sea surface temperature, and the fifth is East Asia mean sea level pressure. Simply we call it as MSLP. So these are the 5 parameters that is utilized, that is being studied by the IMD to calculate, to forecast the monsoon during the month of April. Now one thing is very clear from these, that you can see out of 5 parameter, 4 parameters, that is second, third, fourth, all related to the ocean. And it shows the importance of the ocean, that is in monsoon it is mostly the role of ocean, land, atmosphere. That is very interesting. It is their role. Not only this, IMD also issues one more intra-seasonal forecasting. As I said, season and mid-season. So mid-season forecasting will be done in the month of June. So while forecasting in April, IMD will consider 5 parameters. While doing forecasting during June, it will consider 6 parameters. But this 6 parameter will not be the same. Rather, 3 parameters will be from here. That is 3, 4, 5. And you will have 3 other parameters that will be calculated by the IMD to just arrive on that particular forecasting. Now what are the 3 different parameters? You just need to have some of the idea. One is your phenomena of Nino. Of course, as I said, El Nino, La Nina. So simply it is referred as Nino and it is referred as 3.4 SST. Now in simple term, what is this 3.4? Mostly while we were discussing El Nino, I have told you that you will have, for the pressure difference, for the oscillation, we have considered 2 different zones. One is represented by Darwin, one is represented by Tahiti. Now this Darwin and Tahiti area will be categorized in different category like Nino 1 and 2, then 3, then 4. Now the area that is lying between 120 degree west to 170 degree west, between 5 degree north and 5 degree south, is simply considered as the region of Nino 3.4. So this Nino 3.4, of course it might be, it appears to some of the students little bit technical, but you should know this because the UPSC can ask about this forecasting pattern also. Like this year, they have asked about what are the methodology and technique used for the calculation of particularly seismic waves. So they are going in little bit technicality. So you cannot say that I am not going to study or I am not interested in this, because UPSC can ask this and it is very much relevant to your particularly forecasting. So Nino 3.4, it is the region lying between 120 degree west to 170 degree west, between 5 degree north to 5 degree south. Other than this, the 7th parameter is simply northwest Atlantic mean sea level pressure. So both the parameter is associated with the ocean again. And the last parameter, that is 8th, I am writing in above. The 8th parameter is something related to North Central Pacific zonal wind gradient. So like in April forecasting, there will be one parameter that is not associated to ocean. Similarly, in this June forecasting, April forecasting first 5, June forecasting last 6, that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. In this only this 8th parameter is not associated with the ocean. All the other parameters are very much associated with the ocean. So now here, one more very important thing that you can relate with the monsoon and you need to know is some phenomena that is going in the ocean. And which phenomena is going in the ocean? Most of the time you will come across the term climate change. Of course, I am not going to discuss this climate change in detail, but I am very much sure that you must have some idea about climate change, global warming. So simple word, climate change, which is associated with global warming, is simply associated with the rising temperature or warming. Now, when you will have the warming is happening, definitely the warming will happen in the ocean also. So, in the first sense, in the first appearance, it will simply appear that the global warming will result into more rainfall, and which is very obvious, of course, because as a student or simply not having very good expertise in geography, so the simple thing that comes to your mind that whenever there will be a warming over the ocean, so definitely you will have more evaporation, so more moisture will be available, and if you will have more moisture will be available, definitely that more moisture will result into more rainfall. But one thing you need to understand, that the rising temperature is not only associated with the development of evaporation, but also associated with the development of pressure. The whole monsoon mechanism, the whole monsoon basics lies in that there is a pressure gradient between Indian mainland and the Indian Ocean. And why this pressure gradient is being caused? Mainly because of the differential heating. So the land is invariably getting more heated up. So here you will have development of low pressure. Ocean is getting less heated up. That's why it is getting developed high pressure. And this pressure gradient is causing movement of the wind from Indian Ocean to Indian mainland. But whenever this Indian Ocean will get more heated up, definitely the pressure over the Indian Ocean will get decreased. And the moment the pressure over Indian Ocean will get decreased, definitely there will be a bound to change in the pressure gradient condition in between Indian Ocean and Indian mainland. And when there will be a change in the pressure gradient between Indian Ocean and Indian mainland, definitely the monsoonal wind will get affected. So you need to be very careful while analyzing the role of climate change of the over monsoon. Climate change role are simply warming of the ocean's role in the monsoon. In general, when this warming is associated with some of the small area nearby the land part, like nearby Kerala, nearby Maharashtra, then definitely it can have positive role. But if you will look out the overall role of the heating of the Indian Ocean, it will have negative effect. In fact, some of the studies suggest that the overall amount of rainfall that India was getting 50-60 years back is continuously going downward. So might be we are feeling that in last few decades the amount of rainfall has increased, but if you will try to compare with the overall rainfall, the amount of rainfall has continuously decreasing. Also, one very interesting feature of this climate change that is visible is that the amount of rainfall will be more for a sudden period. So more and more you will have sudden active period of monsoon, and whereas you will have long particular weak section or dry period will prevail. So you will have the active period length will decreased, and also the weak period or particularly the break period of monsoon period will again gets increased. So there will be a change in the particularly monsoon inter-seasonal oscillation also of this climate change. So these are some of the space-time variability of the rainfall. I hope that after going through this session, you will be in a condition to write a good answer of the question like what will be the main cause of erratic nature of monsoonal rainfall in India, or simply the question can be asked like discuss the present some of the changes in the variation in rainfall in different part of the country, and any question related to this topic. So I think that most of the monsoon and related phenomena and how it is changing its dynamics in 21st century should be cleared after going through this monsoon lecture. Thank you for all. Thank you. And definitely we will discuss some of the new themes, some of the new topics in upcoming videos. Thank you.